Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We are looking at a fun Tuesday night slate of 11 games here in the NBA after a night off for that National College Championship game. In this one, we are taking a look at the Bucks playing the Bulls, taking a look at some of the best bets in this one as these two try to close out the division here. Make sure you do check out Nate's great article up on playpicks.com as well with some best bets and player props in there for you. And like and subscribe to that page as we got a couple other game videos up for you today. So 3 total game videos for you and our player props video. We love to bring you each and every week as we get that bonus one out there for you on this big NBA slate. Make sure you head over to thelines.com as well and check out that odds checker. Make sure you're getting the best juice available from all of those odds makers out there. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, Bulls open here as 4.5-point underdogs at home against the Bucks. Bucks are looking for the season sweep of their division rivals. They have a healthy 3.5 game lead for that division. I mean, for what it means, I mean, they're the second seed right now, could clinch the top seed over Miami. They do not have an easy schedule the rest of the way. Neither do the Bulls, who actually host the Celtics on Wednesday night as well. Then they get the Hornets, and then they have to go to Minnesota to close out. I feel like they're going to drop to 6th here with the way Toronto's playing, and then they might see those Celtics in the first round. But look, quickly before we look at that game, the 10 other games here on this big Tuesday. Cavs are minus 8.5 at Magic. The Sixers are minus 12 at Indy. Totals 231 there. We're going to break that game down for you in a separate video. Hawks are plus 4 at the Raptors. Both teams really hot right now as they enter the postseason or playing, whatever for each one. Rockets plus 17 at Brooklyn with a 242 total. That game has silly season written all over it. Hornets plus 5 at the Heat. Some key guys will be out for Miami, though. Blazers plus 4 at Thunder. It seems like these tanking teams just play every night. Yeah. Wizards plus 11 at the Wolves. Spurs without DeJounte Murray are plus 7.5 in Denver. Grizz plus 5 at Jazz. We're going to break that one down in one more game video for you. And then the Pelicans are minus 8 at the Kings. All right. So Bucks, Bulls. I mean, the Bucks, they've been playing the same style of defense for years now. They don't give up shots at the rim. They don't give up free throws. And in exchange, they're going to let certain guys beat you from 3. Lately, they've been getting, pretty scorched from 3 against, efficient offensive teams, allowing the most triples per game at a 40% clip, while going 6-3 on the road since the All-Star break. But the Bulls have not really been able to take advantage of that in all 3 of these meetings here. They're averaging 10 triples at a 31% rate here, scoring just 100 points per game. They had their best performance at home, though, and that's going to be the key for me in terms of thinking about the total here, because the Bulls have been road tripping hard since the All-Star break. They had just 3 home games from February 26th until they finally got 2 in a row. Now this is a 4-game homestand. And as soon as they go home, that offensive starts just cooking. And they scored 135 to beat the Clippers, who suddenly have the best offense of the league with Paul George back. And then they go over again, 236 with Miami. You don't have to drag too many people to bend over with the Bucks. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory because of the way they can let you score from the perimeter, and because of obviously the fact that Giannis is so unstoppable. So I mean, the over for me is a fine bet. They were improving defensively leading into that Brooklyn game. The Bucks were, but then putting up a 136 defensive rating in their last 2 losses here against the Clippers and Mavs. But I'm not reading into those too much as saying like, oh, there's still issues for the Bucks. I think they turn up. It's almost playoff time here. They're turning up for these huge matchups in the East. We saw Giannis put his MVP campaign on against by beating the Sixers and beating the Nets, and now the Bucks are 8-0 in their last 8 against the East, 7-1 against the spread in that span. Giannis averaging 33.5, 11.5 boards, 5.5 assists. Only a tick below is in terms of what he's averaged against the Bulls in his last 10, 30.5 points, 13.5 rebounds, dominating that rebound advantage. And in that last meeting in Chicago, he got to the line 19 times, just really asserted his will there. So, I mean, I like the Bucks. They're 10-3 straight up against the division. That is their best winning percentage situation this season. They're 16-9 against the spread as a road favorite. That is their highest cover percentage as well. And then the Bulls just have these crazy bad numbers when they're underdogs, 7-24 straight up versus 24-4 when they're home favorites. So they don't really give the odds makers a lot of surprises here. When they're not expected to win, they don't tend to win.
Yeah, but when they're not expected to, they don't do it. I fully agree, and that's not the case for a lot of teams. So it's not like that's an obvious statement. But for those Bulls, yeah, I mean the thing is, both for the Bulls and for the Bucks, they don't have a large sample size as of late that I trust, right? And that starts with the fact that the Bucks are such a different team when they're trying and when they're bringing it right now. I mean, that's easy to say, but I mean, they're glaringly different. Obviously, that 153 points they just gave up to the Clippers and that 136 offensive or defensive rating over their last couple games is misleading when they didn't play anybody right against the Clips a couple games ago. And then, the Mavs, look, the Mavs are definitely a team to be reckoned with, not a team that anybody wants to face in the Western Conference. They were at home as 6.5 point favorites against these Bucks the other night because of the fact that, I mean, at home, especially right now, they're just cooking, and scoring 118 points against the Bucks was, it was not a sort of a feat that did not go noticed. It was definitely something that caught the attention of the league, and the 112 that they held the Bucks to, probably even more impressive right now, even though on the road, the Bucks are obviously not quite the same team offensively that they are at home, but they're covering, as we mentioned. And as I mentioned about who they're playing, it's crucial to look at that over their last couple. The Mavs was a good win by the Mavs, just as much as it was, a heartbreaking loss for the Bucks. And then looking back at the other teams that, that they need to play in the Eastern Conference, to the points that you're making, covering, beating the 76ers and the Nets, obviously the Bulls last time out just a couple of weeks ago. And then, the bottom feeders like the Wizards, but even the teams like the Hawks, who are super hot right now, and the Heat, right, winning and covering in those games that they need to against these teams that they're going to be facing in the playoffs. And this is a team that not only, could they see at the playoffs if the Bulls could get through the first round, which I honestly don't feel good about them right now, as we mentioned, Toronto threatening to overtake them as well. I just think that the reason I don't trust necessarily what the Bulls have been doing lately is because, like you said, they're home actually for a 5-game stand now to finish this entire season on the road, 5 games in a row at home. Just won beat the Clips and then did lose that game to the Heat, but still a ton of points in that one as well. Meaning, their offense is hopefully going to be coming back. 109 points against the Heat, not impressive, but it is the Heat. So I think the offensive output they had against the Clips is a little bit more indicative of the way that you're going to see these Bucks play as well. Even though the Bucks have a bunch, the Bucks are the Clippers times 5. Basically, they're just them with height and more talent, essentially. But there's going to be a lot of guys playing around the style of play that Giannis Antetokounmpo and Paul George are both playing right now. Even though Paul George obviously a better shooter, it's still a lot of one guy handling the ball and the other guys playing off of him right now. So I do think that it'll be indicative of the amount of points we saw, which is why I'm not afraid of this over. I know we both like the Bucks. I don't really think there's much else to go into except for I do expect them to sweep, and 4.5 points. I don't love having to take that because I do think that the Bulls are going to put up more of a fight than you've seen. I think being home, being rested, and having all of their guys back at this point, including as we mentioned, Pat Williams and Caruso, and that defense getting a bit better. I think they'll be a little bit more formidable than I would have otherwise expected against this Bucks team, which is why I do think they'll come along for the offense that the Bucks are going to put up no matter what. Which is once again why we always love when we know that a team like the Bucks is going to be coming out aggressive on offense against a team that cannot hang with them defensively. Love to smack that Bucks team total as well, which I feel a little bit more comfortable with than the total, but also do like the Bucks to cover. Maybe you think about a teaser, but we're really close to me just saying hit that Bucks money line and an over, and then I would feel good about it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Bulls coming along for the ride. They're 4th in offensive rating at home this season versus 19th on the road. And then since the All-Star break on the road, 26th in the league in offense. I mean, that just speaks to the fact that, yeah, they've been missing that home cooking. And then all of a sudden, yeah, they are going to score a lot. I like what you're saying. Yeah, I do think they're going to keep it close enough that you would worry about the Bucks covering 4 or 5, that if this spread moves, you're going to have to tease it down. And if the total's probably going to rise a little bit too, as people start betting on it, you might have to tease that down as well. But I mean, I think this game could easily go over 234 or 236, even where it might close. It's just a question of, can the Bulls hit some threes, basically? I mean, it's not like they don't have 3-point shooters around DeRozan. I mean, Vooch, Levine, they can shoot it. They're just still reintegrating Patrick Williams at this point. Alex Caruso still, has missed a ton of time. So, I mean, if they can knock down their shots, look, DeRozan and Levine combined for 60 the last time out when they faced them at home. But I mean, they will come along. It's not easy to beat a team 4 times in a season, but it's not easy to beat Giannis when he's locked in either. And that's what we've seen lately. And don't forget that the Bucks are 44-19 when Drew Holiday plays. They actually have a bigger discrepancy. 11 of their 30 losses coming because Drew is out sometimes in addition to other people, which is probably the main reason Giannis isn't going to be as much in consideration for MVP as those 2 centers. But, all 3 of the big 3 active for the Bucks. Big game, basically to clinch the division. I don't see them losing, and I think when the Bucks win, they score 121 on average. So we're definitely in good position for an over.
Yeah, I agree. And both these guards, I mean, you mentioned the 3-point shooting that's needed against the Bucks. I mean, Zach LaVine's been doing it. He's, like you mentioned, they average, not only did they combine for 60, they're averaging about 55 points combined in their 3 games this year versus the Milwaukee. Zach LaVine actually missed one of those games. And DeMar still, you need the 3-point shooting. He actually has only been putting up 3.5 attempts from 3 in those 3 games he's played against the Bucks. He's still getting to his spot and shooting about 43% from the field, including a super bad outing of 37%. But everything else has been about 45% or above, including a 50% from the field outing for DeMar. And then Zach LaVine is hitting those threes for them as well. In his couple games there, he's about 7 for 17 against them. So he's still putting up good numbers. There's the ability for both these guys to score in different ways against this Bucks team. So I think there's still plenty of reason to like that over. Like I said, I'm a tiny bit scared of that 4.5 because I think the Bulls are going to be coming for a ride. So I'm feeling pretty good about parlaying that money line with the over at 234.5 or so. Feel free to take a teaser if you want that over down a little bit, so you can just get it over about 228.5, 229, somewhere around there. But I'm not too scared of 234.5, 233, something like that. So I know I like the Bucks money line as my favorite bet, just not enough to get the juice I'm looking for. So adding a little bit to it sounds like the right play in this one. And that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page and check out all 3 game videos we have up for you on this big slate, as well as that player props vid. And until we see you next, happy betting.